Hey YouTube, this is Gdubley bringing you another episode of Psychics 101. This is like my 5th time recording this, and for whatever reason it's not uploading fully, so hopefully this chance will work. In the description bar below there's going to be a link to the Pojo.com TCG Psychic Strategy thread, where a lot of key contributors to the Psychic deck have been contributing. These people have been topping at regionals, have had YCS deck profiles and spotlight games, so go ahead and check it out for all things regarding Psychics. And the description bar below is also going to be the deck list for my Psychic OTK deck, which will be the topic of discussion for this video. Seems to be the new trend on YouTube to leave it in the description bar below and just talk about a few key cards, so I figured I'd give it a shot. The first card I'm going to be talking about is Psi-Blocker. Now, originally I had a card of the day kind of segment on Psi-Blocker and was saying that I was teching a copy and using a couple in the sideboard in various decks. In this version, you kind of got to run 3. It does a lot of key things for the deck. It's an amazing card. First and foremost, it stops Effect Veiler. If your opponent has no back row, you normal summon Psi-Blocker, and you can get Mind Master to the field via E-Telly or 1-for-1, you've won the game. Psi-Blocker also does a lot of things like stopping first turn Xian. It's an out to a lot of key cards. It can stall for a little bit, allowing you to grab the pieces that you need. The only downside to Psi-Blocker is you got to run protection for it. Either that or you got to be super, balls to the wall aggressive. This particular version of the OTK is balls to walls aggressive. I'm running Royal Decree, which is the next card I'm going to be talking about. So you do have less protection for Psi-Blocker, so you got to really know when to utilize Psi-Blocker and when to make your big push for game. Royal Decree, running this simply because you need to stop Dimensional Prison, Bottomless Trap Hole, and most of all Solemn Warning. Royal Decree also allows for tons of space, which allows you to run key monsters and mad spells. Royal Decree is just really good. It helps you get Witch's effect during your standby phase. You could just activate Royal Decree to negate stuff that hurts. Also, it makes it so you're not necessarily as reliant on Barkion as being reliant on one synchro monster. Kind of stinks, especially when you can go into another option if that other option is alongside Decree for the similar effect as Barkion. Running Decree also allows you access to the Psylock, which is essentially Royal Decree, Naturia Beast, and either TG Halberd Cannon or Shooting Khazar Dragon when it comes out. So it's definitely a good idea to be running Royal Decree. Sometimes it comes a turn too late, or has to have a setup turn, so you activate it a turn later than you ideally like to, but it's just a risk you have to run with this card. The next card you are going to see that's a little odd would be Nobleman of Extermination. Nobleman of Extermination is really great in this deck. Outside of Effect Veiler, it's again like Royal Decree. It stops the cards to stop your combos. It also lets you get to look at your opponent's deck briefly to see if your opponent has or is running Effect Veiler. Or game 1, it allows you to get a better idea of what your opponent is running so that you can call smarter choices with Psi-Blocker. It's got great synergy in here because you got to run a lot of back row hate, and it also supports your Psi-Blocker combos. Next, you're going to see that I'm running actually 2 Overdrive Teleporter. A lot of people, even in their OTK versions, are running 1 or 0 of these. If you're running enough answers to the problems with this card, you got to run 2. 3 still clogs, so you don't really want to run 3, but you got to run 2. It's just too good to pass up. It creates too much advantage, even if you can't push for an OTK, and it also creates a whole bunch of OTKs with Psychic Nightmare and other Hush Psychic Cleric loops that you can create with this card. For the reason why I'm running Overdrive Teleporter, I got to include a copy of Psychic Snail. This card allows a lot of your big Psychic Synchros that you bring out with Teleporter and or Mind Master to attack twice, which adds up to the 8,000 that you need to destroy your opponent and win the game. So those are the reasons why I'm running those. Another card I could talk about is Destructotron, simply because with Royal Decree, it's easy to get rid of, tons of back rows for, at a relatively low cost. Effect Veiler, I'm running 2 of in this deck. Essentially, it keeps you alive for that one turn that you need to stay alive in order to go out for your OTK the next turn. It's also a 1-for-1 target if you happen to have Mind Master in hand or on the field already. So you can utilize that 1-for-1 and it won't be as dead as often. I'm also playing Miracle Synchro Fusion in 2 in this deck. Right now it's something I'm currently testing. I'm liking it a lot because if you get Ultimate Axon Kicker in this deck, if you get it out, it's really hard for your opponent to get around, and it's a good key win condition. So if you're running Miracle Synchro Fusion, you've got to run Ultimate Axon Kicker. It's a good win condition. One more thing I want to talk about before the end of this video is I wanted to talk about the extra deck. Extra deck space is really tight. Essentially, there's 10 or 11 cards that are essential auto-include for the Psychic extra deck, and if you're running Ultimate Axon Kicker, you can up that by 2 if you're running Axon Kicker and Miracle Synchro Fusion. And there's there's a handful of cards that can really go on this deck and support it very well, like Trishula, Hyper Psychic Blaster, Armory Arm, Colossal Loop, and yes, it does still exist. And this deck can fully utilize it by making 2 Armory Arm and having the Colossal Loop. TG Halberd Cannon, shooting Quasar Dragon when it comes out. Then you also have like Gaia and Naturia Landoise, Black Rose Dragon. There's a lot of cards in here that this deck wants to include in the extra deck and is really having a hard time with space. So in the description bar below, I put I think it's 10 or 11 cards that I am running in my Psychic extra deck regardless, because you got to run them. Anything from Librarian to Barkion to Beast to Brionac and so on and so forth. And then next to that, there will be in brackets, there will be the list of 6, 7, 8, synchro monsters that I want to use and I have been testing, and that you guys can test out and see what works for you. That's going to do it for this episode of Psychics 101. I hope you enjoyed it. Look for me to be posting a couple deck profiles on decks other than Psychics, just to do something different. I should be posting a Psychic deck, somewhere down the road, whether it be Plants or whether it be Miracle Synchro Fusion with Feel Zone, kind of more of a gimmicky deck, but it's fun to play. So keep an eye out for those. Rate, comment, subscribe. This is Gdubley signing out. Peace, YouTube.